Well, hello there, Libra. It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we're doing your mid-August reading. This is good from now until about mid-September. We'll take a look at the overall energy with the oracle cards and then go into the tarot for more details about any obstacles on your path or areas of resistance so you can move closer to what your heart truly desires. All right, let's jump into it. Let's see what is on the horizon for you. All right, stepping into power. You are strong beyond measure. Wow. Okay, love that energy. Wow. And peacock spirit, let it shine. All right, now the peacock is the number 46. 4 plus 6 equals 10. And 10s are all about endings and new beginnings. And I think you have allowed some situation in your life to finally end, and it is time for you to truly step into your power. Allow yourself to shine and move into a new chapter in your life. I love that energy about, just a really strong new beginning. We're getting closer to your birthday season, and our birthday season a lot of times is this energy of new beginnings. And if you think about it, right, this reading is good until mid-September, which is the beginning of Libra season. I feel like you have this a month, okay? This next month could be about you shedding any old skins, okay, or feathers. You see the feathers of the peacock there, right? It's kind of like allowing yourself to shed anything that is holding you down. It's kind of like, yes, the more you shed, the more powerful you are going to be, because I feel like your birthday season is going to be spectacular. So yes, let's see what we have. Shelter, you are cherished. Yeah, once again, Gemini have a little bit of the same energy, not quite like this, that you are being cherished by your spirit guides and angels, especially at this time. They are helping to shelter you, okay, protect you as you are allowing yourself to transform. So there, it's kind of like, think of it this way. Our spirit guides and angels are always there and available for us, right? But sometimes when we're going through this shedding process, and I feel like there is this energy of shedding, right? Shedding old beliefs, shedding, decluttering your house. It's coming up to the end of the summer season here in the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe, shedding some of the summer clothes that are just worn out, and it's time to, give them away or donate them or whatever. It's kind of like this energy of, yes, I'm ready to shed the very last. Libra, you've shed a lot, right? This is the energy of what else do I need to push out? Because it's almost like, have you ever kind of like had a room that was really messy, and then you go in there and you spend hours, maybe days getting it cleaned up, and then it's kind of like you think you're done and you stand back, or maybe you even leave the room, and then you come back into the room and you're like, you know what? I still could edit here, right? I could still kind of declutter a little bit more, or I could straighten this area up a little bit more. I think that that's a little bit of this energy where you've done a lot of decluttering, you've done a lot of healing, but it's kind of like you're taking one last look. Is there something else that I can do to help close out that chapter in my life so that I am really powerful as I move forward? And while you're doing this shedding, sometimes, it is true that it means that we can sometimes feel a little precarious in doing that. It's it reminds me a little bit. I've moved a lot in my lifetime, and even though I would be excited about the move and maybe where the new chapter was going to be, when you're packing up, I'm not going to even say it's like packing up. This is like all the movers have come. They have all the furniture on the truck, and they just have one box left, right? You walk through the house and you're like, oh my goodness, they forgot this. And you walk out to the truck, right? And it's like handing them that last box and say, oh, wait a minute, this also needs to go on the truck, right? And they put it on the truck and they close the door on the back of the van, and they're starting to drive away. And it's kind of like that moment where you realize, I'm ending a chapter. You say goodbye to your neighbors, right? There's a few tears that are shed. It's kind of like, I feel like this next month is a little bit like that, because when your birthday season starts, you are really starting out with a bang. And so it's kind of like allowing yourself to kind of like have that moment of understanding. Yeah, you had some good times in that house. You had some good times in this last chapter. There were also some not so good times, right? And it's kind of like, okay, I'm kind of like making it all neat and tidy, and I'm packing it away. I'm understanding that the only place for the past is in the past. And that look at this. Your very first card out, optimism. I love it. You're starting a new chapter, right? You have the new beginning card. One of my favorites. It is this energy where I feel like you're kind of dawdling. You find that last box in the house and you're dawdling to take it out to the movers. And there is something kind of sad about this. Bittersweet. That's the word. They're saying bittersweet. It's bittersweet. This chapter needs to end, and yet at the same time, it's the energy of knowing that there are beautiful new beginnings for you. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Yeah, you have soulmate on the bottom, magician, the healer of all ages. Yeah, there's your broken heart, right? But here, your heart is whole. Your heart is whole again. The spirit has come in and said, yes, it's okay. I feel like for some of you, this is about a soulmate journey. Maybe you're realizing that a chapter is really over. Sometimes we can end a difficult relationship, or there's a difficult ending to a relationship we didn't want to end, right? And this is a little bit of that energy of, yeah, it's really over. And there is a little bit of sadness. Yeah, there's a little bit of you that is saying, am I really ready for this next chapter? I think part of it is because this past chapter, you've done the healing, and there's a little bit of nostalgia, but there's also a little bit of, I know how to stay in this healing phase. If I allow myself to understand that it's time to step out of the healing phase and get back into life, right? To join the land of the living again, okay? Then, wow, am I ready for that? What is that going to look like? I don't want to repeat anything I've had in the past, right? It's kind of like, okay, am I ready for that? And here is the divine timing. It is the right time. It is time for you to do this. It is time for you to give the movers that last box, right? It's time to say goodbye to your neighbors. It's time to allow yourself to say, this chapter is over. And it's time to step into something new. A new romantic relationship, new friends, a new home, a new job, whatever it is that you are wanting. Yeah, here's the Ace of Wands. We have the Emperor. I think the thing that is holding you back is the sense of wanting to control your life. And I know this sounds kind of interesting, or kind of like, I don't know if interesting is the word, but it's kind of like, if you're in this cage, right, you feel safe, even though the top is open and you could step out. It's kind of like, well, I know this cage. I've allowed myself to stay in this cage for some time because I felt protected, right? You're playing it safe. It's kind of like, I feel protected. I may not be super exuberantly happy about where I am in life, but I feel safe. Yeah, and it's kind of like, it reminds me, my neighbors across the street, they adopted a rescue, and the dog is having a little bit of a hard time adapting, right? And they're just such lovely people. And the trainer suggested that they allow the dog to be in a cage, like a crate. I shouldn't say a cage, a nice size crate, and keep the door open, right? Because the dog would feel safe in there, because the dog was used to being in a crate. So it's kind of like that energy where the door is open to the crate, right? The dog can get out whenever the dog wants to get out, but the dog chooses to stay in the crate because they feel safe. Okay, here's a little bit of what you're going through. Whether you realize it or not, you're allowing yourself to stay in the crate, right? Instead of stepping out into the sun, instead of going in a new direction. And this is you becoming inspired to say, you know what? There's a whole big world out there. If I allow myself to get out of the cage, out of the crate, like my neighbors have this beautiful backyard. That dog is going to be living in paradise over there, right? But it is understanding that the dog, you, all right, are anxious about this next chapter. The dog doesn't realize just how loving my neighbors are and how their beautiful backyard is going to be a little bit of a haven for this dog, right? It's going to be paradise. It's kind of like you understanding that, okay, if I allow myself to leave the cage, there's this whole big world out there that I can explore. But it does mean I have to allow myself to step out of my comfort zone and go in this direction. Once again, whether it's a new romantic partner, meeting new friends, moving to a new location, starting a new job, starting your own business, whatever it is, it's kind of like, yeah, it is time. It is the divine time to go ahead and embark on this. But part of you is wanting to stay, especially financially stable. I get it. Right? I get it. It's kind of like, well, I want to stay financially stable. I don't want to risk anything. But if you don't allow yourself to risk something here, and I'm not saying it has to be financially, maybe you're keeping your full-time job and you're allowing yourself to carve out some time to work on a side business, right? Until you can get it really up and running. Or maybe you're allowing yourself to carve out some time to meet new friends, right? And maybe that does cost a little bit of an investment. Maybe you have to join a gym or join some type of a hiking club or something like that. Maybe you are having to invest a little bit more in order to expand your life. But that's exactly what you're seeing. Yeah, I feel like you're understanding that it's only your fears, okay, that are holding you back, because you're seeing clearly now. You have the King of Swords, right? And the Ace of Swords, seeing very clearly the truth of what is preventing you from your own happiness. It's your own fears. You may have fallen into thinking, no, my job is just so depleting. I don't have the time and energy to do a side hustle. Understanding? Guess what? There's a lot of people out there that work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, right? And then come home and write their book, right? Spend an hour writing their book every night, right? It's allowing yourself to say, I'm not going to allow myself to have any more excuses. If I want it, I will find a way. And this is you, almost like stepping into your power, right? Saying, yeah, what are my excuses? Those are all based on fear. Any of your excuses, I don't care what excuse you want to use, okay? It's based on fear. This is you seeing clearly what your fears are and how they are preventing you from what it is that you truly want. Because here's the thing. You have been trying to build a new life for yourself, but you've been building it in this really safe zone, right? It's a little bit of understanding. If you want something different, you have to be different. You have to act different. You have to think differently. If you want the same old, then just keep doing what you're doing. But if you want something different, it's time to allow yourself to work on that, to focus on that, to know that it may not be the easiest, right? But it is going to take you to the door of personal healing and happiness. And I do feel like for some of you, this is you stepping into your spiritual gifts, starting your spiritual business, understanding, wait a minute, why am I holding myself back? Maybe you feel like you're not spiritual enough, or your gifts and talents are not as good as somebody else's. Like there is who how can we say one person is more spiritual than another? Because spirituality is so individual, right? And it's a little bit of thinking you don't have everything you need. You don't have the credentials. You don't have the experience. You don't have whatever it is. It's kind of like understanding, then do something about it, right? It's kind of like do something about it. Don't be keeping yourself here because you feel like you don't have what you need. This is the energy of knowing, hey, wait a minute, the clock is ticking. And your spirit guides and angels are saying, now is the time. Don't hold back. Don't allow yourself to use your excuses to hold yourself back. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. You have the Devil, the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Two of Swords. You're almost attached, okay? The Devil is attachments. Addictions. You're almost attached, addicted to confusing yourself, of keeping yourself in a place to not, you're identifying, that's what you're doing. You're identifying yourself as perhaps a victim of somebody that's not going to have the happiness that you want, you think you deserve. You're not. Perhaps part of your this is a little bit of a blunt truth, right? This is you stepping into seeing clearly, okay? The only thing that's preventing me from what it is that I want is my lack of confidence, my excuses that are all based on the fears that I am not worthy of it, that I don't have enough, that I won't be successful, people will laugh at me, whatever it is. It's kind of like, so are you going to allow yourself to let other people and what they think stop you from what it is that you really and truly want? I don't think you are. Because Libra, this is you saying, yeah, no, that's hogwash. And you may have been conditioned your whole life to believe you shouldn't go after what you want, right? It's going to be silly. You're going to fall on your face. You don't know what you're doing. You have no experience. You don't have enough education. Somebody has been feeding you those lines, maybe since you were a child. This is you saying, you know what? If I don't have the right education, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go get the education I need. If I feel like I don't have the financial backing for it, I'm going to start knocking on doors and finding investors, right? Whatever it is that you want, it's kind of like understanding this is your time to shine. This right here is your time to shine, Libra. So step out of the safety zone, right? Allow yourself to see clearly what it is that you want and what has been preventing you from going and getting it. And if you jump into, well, I can't because of somebody else, right? Or some other situation or whatever else, then understanding, okay, it's time to take a look at that. Is that really the truth? Or is that the reason or the excuse that you are using instead of facing the real reason why you're not going towards what it is that will make you happy? Wow, powerful. I feel like there is this hurdle, a little bit of a hurdle. Yeah. For some, oh my gosh. You have got to do this, Libra. I think for some of you, this is understanding that there is something that you have wanted, perhaps even from childhood, that somebody told you just was unattainable. And this is you saying, no way, I'm going for it, right? 4 wands, you're going to be successful. You're going to be celebrating. Gemini energy with the Lovers, the World card, stepping into it. For some of you, I do think it is a soulmate. It could even be a soulmate. Somebody, I'm not going to say like, reuniting with a toxic partner from the past. It's not that, right? It could be reuniting with a childhood friend, right? that perhaps is a soulmate in some way, or allowing yourself to know, wait a minute, I always wanted that special someone in my life, and now it's time to allow myself to know that it is possible to go there. I'm not going to put myself in this cage and think that it's not possible for me. It is possible. That is the message, and it's so clear. All right, Libra, let's pull a final card for some final advice for you. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. Resiliency is about adaptability. Yeah, resiliency makes space. She invites more options. She changes her mind. He lets go of restricted ideologies. They pivot. No force, no enduring, no sucking it up, rather adapting. Yeah, I think this is you understanding the situation may not be perfect, right? And maybe you're attached to the idea that the circumstances have to be perfect before you're willing to step into this. This is you understanding your expectations are keeping you in a place you don't really want to be. It's allowing yourself to adapt to the economy, adapt to your job, adapt to the available love partners, right? It's kind of like you're not lowering your standards. You're adapting. That is the key here. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. I really do appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. I love you so much. Bye for now.